December 19th, 2025. Remember this date. It's not merely another day marked on our calendars. It signifies the day when the interstellar wanderer 3I Atlas comes closest to Earth. We're discussing a distance of 1.8 astronomical units, approximately 269 million kilometers. Safe? Indeed. Dull? Definitely not. Because what we witness now, just days ahead of this encounter, is challenging everything we've understood about comets, the cosmos, and perhaps our place within it. Welcome back. If you're joining us for the first time, you've arrived at a pivotal point. We are monitoring 3I's Atlas, the third celestial visitor. Unlike Oumuamua, which passed us by as a silent and dark fragment, and Boris, which resembled a typical snowball, 3I Atlas is performing, putting on a spectacle that leaves astronomers bewildered and compels the rest of us to confront uncomfortable questions. Today, instead of reflecting on its discovery, we focus on the present, the data recently gathered from the Hubble Space Telescope and the ALMA Observatory in Chile. Trust me, the findings are unusual. Strikingly, terrifyingly unusual. Let's begin with the visual evidence. We've obtained fresh images. On November 30th, the Hubble Space Telescope aimed its gaze at 3 Atlas. The object was moving away from the Sun, retreating into darkness. One would expect a comet to behave accordingly, with a tail streaming behind, dissipating as it cools. But 3I Atlas is displaying a structure that defies expectations. Hubble captured a clear and distinct anti-tail. In conventional astronomy, an anti-tail is deemed an optical illusion, a perspective trick where substantial dust particles seem to point toward the Sun. Yet, this phenomenon appears persistent. It's a plume of material directed straight at the star it's just survived. Avi Loeb, the Harvard astronomer who has contested the popular narrative since the arrival of Oumuamua, highlights a disconcerting observation. This anti-tail consistently points toward the Sun, irrespective of the comet's movement. Ponder that. A tail that resists the solar wind. Or could it be something different? Some are murmuring about exhaust, while others mention a counterflow. However, the visual data remains indisputable. There are two distinguishable jets, one resembling the typical smoky tail we anticipate, and the other a sharp lance directed toward the Sun. It appears less like a decaying rock and more like a stabilized object. But the real narrative, one that has the potential to alter history, is not solely based on what we can see. It lies in what we can sense. Not in a literal sense, of course, but through spectroscopy. The Atacama Large Millimeter Array, ALMA, has been examining the gas cloud enveloping 3I Atlas, and the cocktail it detected is astonishing. We're observing vast amounts of methanol, CH3OH, and hydrogen cyanide, HCN. Now, don't be alarmed. Yes, hydrogen cyanide is toxic and lethal. Yet, in the context of the cosmos, it's a building block, an essential precursor for amino acids, including adenine, a component of DNA, and methanol. It's fundamental for life as we understand it. Here's the twist, the ratio. The fraction of methanol to hydrogen cyanide is astonishingly high, 124:1. Such a high proportion is rarely seen. The only similar instance occurred with the strange comet C 2016 R2. Yet, 3I Atlas hails from another star system. Avi raises a chilling question. Is this object a serial killer carrying poison or a benevolent gardener? Imagine a gardener wandering through a desolate field, sowing seeds. Methanol, hydrogen cyanide, the very ingredients of biology. Is 3I Atlas a natural vessel for panspermia? A rock enriched with the essential components for life? Or is it an engineered probe designed to cultivate worlds? The friendly gardener hypothesis suggests it intentionally disseminates the chemistry of life. The high methanol content serves as its hallmark. This isn't a random assortment. It's a deliberate cocktail facilitating life. And it's currently dispersing this mixture into our solar system. Recall that anti-tail pointing toward the Sun. If you were a gardener, wouldn't you aim your spray? I'm not claiming it's aliens, but I'm suggesting that if one were to create a machine to seed life, it might resemble this, fitted with a dart shell to safeguard the payload, jets to stabilize its orbit, and a trail of organic molecules behind it. We're observing a cosmic crop duster passing Earth, and on December 19th, it will be in our vicinity. But there's more. The color of the object has been changing. It started as red, then shifted to green, and now recent reports indicate it's turning blue, an electric deep blue. This isn't just a whimsical transformation. It reflects the gases being expended. Blue typically indicates ionized gases, such as carbon monoxide and nitrogen. However, this progression of colors, red, green, blue, seems almost systematic. And then there are the signals. Yes, we must discuss the signals. On November 10th, rumors began circulating when the Meerkat radio telescope in South Africa detected emissions around 1665 and 1667 MHz. The internet went wild. It's calling home, it's a beacon. The official explanation is hydroxyl radicals, molecules dismantling in sunlight. Natural and mundane, they assert. The comet isn't communicating. It's merely emitting radio waves as it vaporizes. But here's the issue with natural explanations. They suffice until they no longer do. We're encountering a blend of anomalies that raises statistical alarms. The trajectory, its survival through the solar passage, the anti-tail, the specific chemical composition, and now the radio emissions. We stand on the edge of December 19th. The scientific community is torn. The natural rock camp clings steadfastly to their position, but their resolve is diminishing with each data transmission. Conversely, the technological camp, led by individuals like Loeb, looks at the same evidence and sees a blueprint. In the next segment of this report, we'll delve further into the blue shift and the upcoming observations on December 19th that could uncover critical insights. We'll explore specific markers that may ultimately determine whether we're observing a rock or a rocket. You won't want to miss what follows. We're scrutinizing the orbital mechanics, suggesting this entity may be adjusting its trajectory. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You'll want to be here when the information floods in. Free Atlas is nearly at our doorstep. It has brought us gifts. The pressing question is, are they intended for us? Now let's discuss the chameleon in the room, its color. When Free Atlas made its initial appearance, it was a deep, dark red, a typical trait of interstellar entities. This red hue results from millions of years of cosmic rays transforming the surface into a carbon-rich coating. Anticipated, right? It symbolized age, the color of a traveler who has witnessed the void. Then, as it approached the sun, it morphed into an emerald green, indicative of diatomic carbon and cyanogen igniting, a rare yet natural occurrence. It, as it speeds away from the sun and heads toward us, is shifting once more. Now it appears blue. Blue presents complexities. In comet terminology, blue typically signifies ionized carbon monoxide or nitrogen, high energy, heat. But Free Atlas is moving away from its heat source. It should be cooling down, fading back to red or gray. Yet, it's radiating this electric azure glow. Why? One theory posits that the sun stripped off the old red coating, unveiling a pristine, icy core we have never witnessed before. A revitalized surface from another star system. However, another possibility troubles scientists like Avi Loeb at night. What if the shift in color isn't merely a chemical reaction? What if it's a byproduct of propulsion? Let's address the movement, the trajectory. We understand that Free Atlas follows a hyperbolic orbit, far too rapid to be captured by the sun, simply passing through. But its manner of passage is raising suspicions among orbital dynamicists. We are observing signs of non-gravitational acceleration. True, comets can exhibit this. They heat up, jet gas outward acting as a rocket, nature's thruster effect. However, this thrust is typically erratic, causing the comet to wobble. Free Atlas, on the contrary, exhibits smooth acceleration. And don't forget those jets, the anti-tail, aimed at the sun. They act like stabilizers, keeping the object oriented. Avi proposed months ago that if this object were artificial, it might employ the sun for a gravity assist, an Oberth maneuver. You dive deeply into the gravity well, fire your engines at your closest approach, and you get an immense slingshot boost. Free Atlas dove deep and managed a close proximity to the sun that should have disintegrated a loose pile of rubble. Instead, it brightened, changed color, and emerged on the other side with a trajectory slightly divergent from a purely gravitational path. Is it adjusting its route to get a better view of Earth? Or is it merely attempting to exit our system as swiftly as possible? And while it travels, it hums. Let's revisit those radio signals captured by Meerkat broadcasting at 1665 MHz. Scientists attribute them to hydroxyl radicals, indicating water molecules splitting apart. They're likely right. It's the most logical explanation. Yet, There's a crucial detail they overlook in headlines. The signal is steady. Typically, cometary radio noise fluctuates, bursts, and fades in correlation with the object's rotation and active vents shifting toward or away from us. Yet Free-I Atlas maintains a constant hum, a stable drone. If it's a natural object, it implies that the outgassing is impeccably uniform, or the rotation is extraordinarily rapid. Conversely, if it's artificial, a consistent hum mirrors what you'd expect from a functional system in standby mode or in the process of delivering a carrier wave. We are less than 2 weeks from the closest approach on December 19th. On that day, Free-I Atlas will be $1.80 from Earth. Far, yes, twice the distance to the Sun, but still point-blank for our telescopes. The James Webb Space Telescope is scheduled to observe, and Hubble is already monitoring. Every radio dish capable of shifting its aim will focus on that blue dot. What are we searching for on the 19th? We're looking for the shell. There's a hypothesis proposing that the comet, the gas, the dust, the blue luminescence revolves solely around a shield, a cover, or a byproduct masking the true object lurking within. If the gas dissipates, or if we manage to glimpse through it using infrared, we might unveil the nucleus. Is it a potato-shaped rock like Oumuamua, or does it exhibit unique geometry? Moreover, a recent paper has surfaced concerning the dust that Free-I Atlas is releasing. Remember the friendly Garter narrative and the methanol in cyanide? Well, it emerges that the dust particle size is inconsistent, far too large. Comets typically expel fine dust akin to smoke, but Free-I Atlas is shedding pebbles and gravel instead. Why does this matter? Because while fine dust is blown away by solar pressure, pebbles remain, they comply with the orbit. If Free-I Atlas is indeed dispersing life in our solar system, it's not utilizing a spray. It's planting substantial seeds that will persist long after the object is gone. Are we looking at a delivery system? If so, has the package already been released? In the next segment, we will discuss the message, not as a radio signal, but perhaps a physical one. What if the object itself isn't the message? What if the debris conveys the message? And also, we'll explore the unsettling theory implying that blue hue signifies something ominous concerning the energy source powering it. Stay tuned. The 19th approaches, and we might not be prepared for what we uncover. We have been anticipating a signal, some sort of beat, perhaps a sequence of prime numbers. However, what if we're listening for a whisper when we should actually be searching for a footprint? Returning to that gravel, heavy dust. If you're a traveler from the stars, be it a biological spore or a conscious probe, you face a challenge. Space is immense and time spans deep. Radio waves fade, obscured by the universe's static. However, matter endures. If Free-I Atlas is indeed a benevolent gardener, as Loeb theorizes, it wouldn't simply scream into the emptiness. It would drop breadcrumbs. The fact that this object is relinquishing large, dense particles, pebbles instead of fine smoke, is noteworthy. The fine dust gets pushed out of the solar system by sunlight pressure and vanishes, but hefty particles linger, settling into orbits and integrating into our solar system. We may be witnessing a message-in-a-bottle scenario. However, the bottle isn't a singular object. It's millions of microscopic capsules intentionally placed where a planet like Earth might one day find them. Are these seeds? Could they represent dormant biological entities safeguarded by a carbon shell? Or are they merely rocks? The timing raises eyebrows, releasing the material post-sun passage after the potential overturning of perihelion. It's almost as if the sun acted as a trigger. I have arrived. I am warm. Release the payload. Furthermore, let's reconsider the blue hue. I mentioned it had shifted colors, but we must dig into why this is alarming. Out in the frigid vacuum of space, things don't just emanate blue light without cause. Blue light indicates high energy. We observe it with lightning, the hottest flames, and in nuclear reactors, referred to as Cherenkov radiation. While the official narrative suggests ionized gas, carbon and nitrogen burning off, which is probable, the degree of intensity and the persistence of Free-I Atlas's blue light seems off. As it cools, every moment moving further from the sun, the burning should cease. The increasing intensity in the blue spectrum indicates a potential internal energy source. Is a comet's core heated? Is it radioactive? If we ponder as speculative scientists for a moment, envision a vessel using the sun's heat to fuel a reaction. As it departs, is its engine hot? The blue coma may not only signify gas, it could represent exhaust, evidence of a drive plume propelling it along that non-gravitational path we mentioned. We're privy to the afterburner. What's perhaps the maddening part is that we still haven't laid eyes on it. We have telescopes capable of observing the universe's beginning, yet the hull of this craft remains unseen. Why? It's obscured by the coma, that mesmerizing radiant cloud of gas and dust thick enough to blank out visibility, thousands of kilometers thick. Is that protective cover a natural occurrence? Or is it intentional? If you were to navigate through a hostile system monitored by a primitive species using radar and telescopes, would you not deploy a smokescreen? The radar readings are misleading. We know it's sizable, possibly around 5 kilometers wide. That's akin to the size of a city, yet we cannot discern its shape. Is it jagged like a rock, or smooth like a cylinder? The gas conceals everything, but when December 19th arrives, the angle will be different. As 3I's Atlas passes by Earth, the sun will illuminate it from the side, allowing us to potentially catch a glimpse through the thinning tail. We may observe the shadow of the nucleus, bringing us back to the serial killer theory. If the blue glow signifies radiation and those seeds aren't benign, then we could have just been dusted with something unknowable. We may worry about a collision, yet perhaps that's unnecessary. Maybe it merely needs to skim past us. In a concluding segment, we'll explore the departure. Where is it headed? And the most chilling inquiry of all, what if 3I Atlas isn't even the true visitor? What if it's merely the scout? I will also address the silence, the moment when the data ceases. This is crucial. The silence. That's the looming reality post-December. We have dedicated months fixating on the noise, the radio hum, the chemical signals, the visual wonder of the tales. However, the most unnerving aspect of this encounter isn't what 3I Atlas is doing. It's what it is not doing. It continues to move at 30 kilometers per second relative to the Sun on an escape trajectory. By March 2026, it will cross Jupiter's orbit, and by the early 2030s, it will become a phantom in the dark outer regions, permanently leaving our solar system. It didn't decelerate to greet us. It didn't send a salute. It didn't land. And this is what alarms those who propose the scout theory most. If you're exploring uncharted territory, you wouldn't pause to converse with ants. You'd map the land, collect samples, drop markers, and keep progressing. Is 3I Atlas one such marker? Recall that anti-tail pointed unyieldingly at the sun? We presumed it functioned as a stabilizer or an exhaust plume. But what if it's an antenna, a high-gain relay transmitting data elsewhere? And regarding the seeds, the heavy gravel we discussed, currently drifting within our solar system, settling into stable orbits. If this is a scouting mission, its intent isn't to invade. It's to prepare to plant something that might awaken in 10, 100, or 1,000 years. We're left to confront a disconcerting truth. We've been visited. Was a rock? A benevolent gardener sowing life's essentials? A serial killer dusting us with toxins? Or perhaps a scout charting our defenses? On December 19th, we'll have our last, best perspective. The data collected in the next 10 days will be analyzed for years to come. We'll search for the gaps amid the diminishing gas. We'll listen to the hum. We'll scrutinize that electric blue light. Yet after the 19th, the door begins to close. The visitor turns away. The light will dim. The hum will retreat beneath the static. This channel will track every moment of the flyby. If the signal alters, the trajectory changes, or if the shell fractures, unveiling the core within, you'll be the first to know. Don't look away. The universe has knocked on our door, and we must be awake to respond. Subscribe, like, and share this video. The algorithm may obscure the truth, but we seek it together. I'll see you on the 19th.